back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live in studio, Town Manager Tom Lynch. Tom, good morning.
Good morning. Did you have a nice weekend?
I had an excellent weekend. How about you?
Wonderful weather. It was just great.
Yes, very nice. I went to the Centerville Library auction on Saturday evening. It was a beautiful evening. It was one of those nights, I don't know if you were walking around at all on Saturday, but you could just smell the ocean everywhere.
Yeah,
it was
great.
Really nice.
It was great.
Lovely. So, of course, but Friday, the weekend kicked off with a dedication, a beautiful day for that new playground ribbon cutting.
You know, you've covered some of that on the news, but I have to say that I went to that along with Councilors Cullum and Councilors Cushing, and one role I had was to thank all the people that really helped make that come together. And a project like this, when it's completed, it looks like, oh, they just came together, but there were just so many people that had, you know, whether it was the Recreation Commission, Growth Management Department, a woman named Nancy White who did all the playground, helped with that design. Although there was also the Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce had a group that was involved with that also, and did all the inspections. And Lawrence Lynch donated some of the handicapped ways into the site. So there were just so many people that were there to enjoy it. And so I got to go through that list, but just watching the ribbon cutting and the kids playing all the time really made it worthwhile.
It really does. It really does. So great to have that open and a beautiful place to enjoy. Wequaquet Lake?
Well, on Saturday, I went to the annual Wequaquet Lake Protective Association meeting. They had about 60 members there over at the Yacht Club on Lake Wequaquet. And I was able to talk a lot about the initiatives that we're taking with our lakes and ponds. Again, this year we'll be, looking at the hydrilla issues that are in Long Pond, although that is really abated, and at Mystic Lake, the alum treatment that's going on this week at Hamlin Pond, of course the fan water issue that's at Lake Wequaquet, and they also have some hydrilla issues. So we're looking, we talked a little bit about ways the town can help with that. The Chief of Police did a wonderful presentation that I think people were very interested in as to what the department did and how our Marine Division works on the lake all the time. We had Derek Lawson there from Marine Environmental Affairs, and the members raised issues about placement of buoys, speed on the lake, things like that they're concerned about. So it's our ponds and lakes. We talk a lot about the 208 water study and how we're going to deal with our estuaries and all of the some of the water issues that we have as it relates to salt water, and we need to also be looking at our lakes and ponds, and I think that's going to be a focus that we're going to continue over the course of the next few years. So.
Wonderful. Always making sure the water is beautiful and healthy is very important. Budget continues, hopefully. Go ahead.
At the town council meeting this Thursday, I anticipate that we'll get through community service and the Department of Public Works budgets, and we also have the tourism and library line items that are included in one item. Before we get to the budget, before we get to the town council meeting on Thursday, I will be meeting tomorrow with the housing committee. Of course, they meet monthly. They go over a variety of issues, and I've been invited to come over and talk with them about some of the ways that the town may be able to assist in dealing with a multitude of housing issues. The Cape Cod Times has coincidentally just started a program on the Cape housing gap that's going on, highlighting so far Provincetown and Nantucket. But I'm going to be looking at and talking with them about ways they can be advocates for various housing programs and projects, the use of the Community Preservation Committee housing funds, suggestions on ways that they may be there to increase housing opportunities for Cape workers. I'm going to look at and discuss a little bit of the coordination of Barnstable housing agencies, ways that the members may be able to assist with dealing with the Barnstable Housing Authority, Habitat, and others that are out there producing or running programs. And then also I think there's a role that they can play working with other regional entities like the Cape Cod Commission. When the Cape Cod Commission was created, housing was built right into that. It's one position they have to put in place. I think there are ways the committee could work with them. And also other Cape towns. It's always been a belief of mine that the stronger the other Cape towns are at providing elderly housing, special needs housing, and housing for special populations, as well as workforce and even housing for homeless individuals. The more we can spread that out through the other 14 communities on the Cape will lessen the burden that we have right here in Hyannis and in Barnstable. And then finally, I think the issue that is probably going to take some time to develop more fully is that the whole idea of capacity. Who has the capacity to actually build and implement a housing production plan? The town of Barnstable and the Growth Management Department embarked on a housing needs assessment, so we have good data on what some of our needs are here in the town. We've got a subsequent study that's looking at housing production, but it does come back to how does that housing get produced and which populations are you going to be able to focus on. I think one of our more active groups has been Habitat over the last few years in Barnstable, is going to continue to use individual lots that we can to allow them to assist with building energy efficient and affordable housing for young families that are committed to staying here, and we've been a good partner with them and want to continue that. But how you build into various agencies that have a lot of other responsibilities the capacity to then also take on the construction or development of housing is a difficult task, because there are so many components to a project where you are going to be renting units or selling units below market. And to do that, you need a lot of grants and a lot of subsidy in those units to make them work. So we'll have a discussion around that, and I'm sure they'll have some other suggestions to put forth.
Really interested to see what comes out of the discussion, and that's nice to see this kind of moving to the forefront. Being a young person growing up on the Cape, I've seen, my friends and colleagues, the struggle that they have in finding a good, decent place to live. So interesting, and I have been reading the Cape Cod Times series, and obviously I think the housing gap a little more evident in places like Provincetown and Nantucket, but something all across the Cape. So
exactly.
Looking forward to seeing what comes out of that conversation.
Me too. Great.
Well, Tom, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning, and we'll catch up with you again next Monday.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Tom Lynch, of course, at Town Manager Morning.